I transmigrated and became the crown princess. My husband, the current crown prince, is an idiot. The whole capital knows he's a total good-for-nothing that can't be saved. But hey, on our wedding night, he dismissed all the servants, leaned to my ear and said, "Beautiful." I almost short-circuited on the spot right then. To save my own skin, I had to keep acting like the dignified crown princess I was supposed to be. But he thought I didn't get what he said. He kept testing me like, "Dang, that move of yours is so sick." Ugh, I can't even... Until the imperial consort made things difficult for me. He pulled me behind him to protect me and said coldly, "Don't force me to use my voice changer in the palace." I completely lost it then. I'm Lin Wan, just an average overworked office worker. I transmigrated into the legitimate daughter of the Prime Minister's mansion of the Daliang dynasty, and was even married off to the current Crown Prince Li Che. This should have been incredible fortune for me. The only problem is this Crown Prince is a famously known idiot. Rumor says he fell off a horse at age 3 and hurt his head, and his mental growth stopped ever since. His words and actions are totally absurd. On the wedding night, red candles were burning bright. I sat upright on the edge of the bed with a heavy phoenix crown on my head, thinking to myself how I could live as a rich layabout in the deep palace later. Just eat, drink, and get by without working. The door was pushed open. Licha, dressed in a bright red wedding robe, walked in unsteadily. He's really good looking, with sharp eyebrows and bright eyes, and a high straight nose. Too bad there's a distinct look of naive stupidity in his eyes. He waved all the palace servants away and walked shakily over to me. I completely forgot all the rules the wedding matchmaker taught me. I just wanted to stay far away from this idiot. But he yanked my wedding veil off in one go, leaned down next to my ear, his hot breath fanning my neck. Then he asked in a very low whisper, "Beautiful? Alone?" My blood froze instantly. My brain completely blue-screened. What kind of inappropriate line is that? An ancient idiot crown prince. How could he say a pickup line you'd hear from a random guy at an internet cafe? I jerked my head up and met his seemingly confused eyes. It looked like something flashed through them for a second. Was he testing me? My heart was beating like a drum. I'm also a transmigrator. That's my biggest secret, and the foundation of my survival here. I can never let anyone find out. I immediately lowered my eyes, clenching my hand hidden in my sleeve, faking a soft and gentle voice. "Your Highness, what did you say?" "I am slow-witted." "I don't understand." Licha straightened up, tilting his head to look at me. The curious look in his eyes grew stronger. "The fabric of your robe is really nice. Limited edition, huh?" I held back the urge to roll my eyes and kept acting soft and weak. "Your Highness, this wedding robe was made urgently by the Imperial Household Department for the wedding." He looked a bit disappointed, plopped down across from me, and poured himself a cup of wine without asking. Boring. I kept my head down, not daring to respond. The atmosphere was super awkward for a while. Suddenly there was a commotion outside. "Your Highness, Crown Princess, something's wrong." "Your personal maid Kwee that came with your dowry
Says one of your gold hairpins is missing.
and insists on searching the place. The Eastern Palace servants are fighting with Chief Steward Zhang. Kwee is my personal maid I brought from the Prime Minister's mansion. She's got a fiery personality and is super protective of me. But today is my wedding day. If this gets out, people will only laugh at us, saying I, the Crown Princess, can't control my servants. I was just about to get up to handle it when Li Che, who had been sitting there looking dumb this whole time, suddenly stood up and shook his head, putting on that idiotic smile again. "Go, all of you. If it doesn't turn up, beat that girl to death," he said word by word, his voice loud and deep. The old maid was so scared she trembled and ran off scrambling. My heart sank. Great. This idiot is going to make this way worse. I was just about to beg him to spare her when Licha turned around and grinned at me again. He lowered his voice and said in a voice only we could hear, "Don't panic. It's a technical adjustment." Beat 'em all. I stood there frozen, totally confused. The next morning, I went to greet the Empress with 2 huge dark circles under my eyes. Last night's incident ended up going nowhere. Licha threw a big fit in the yard, scaring the hell out of everyone. In the end, that gold hairpin was found in Xiaoqui's own baggage. The farce ended in a hurry. But the phrase technical adjustment, Lee Che said, looped in my head like a cursed soundtrack all night. I'm 100% sure he's also a time traveler. But why is he pretending to be an idiot? What the hell does he want, actually? I stepped into the Empress's cunning palace with a mind full of questions. The hall was already packed with people. All concubines from different palaces were present. At the front was the highly favored noble consort Hui. I greeted them politely with proper etiquette. The Empress looked pretty amiable. She held my hand and said a few polite pleasantries, then gave me some rewards. But noble consort Hui spoke up in a sarcastic tone. What great luck you have, Crown Princess. I just wonder if His Highness the Crown Prince's health is good enough for you to bear heirs for the royal family soon. She was obviously shaming me over Lee Che's supposed idiocy. I clenched my fists tightly, but I could only force a proper smile on my face. Thank you for your concern, your ladyship. His Highness is perfectly healthy. Oh, really? I see you're quite good at serving tea, Crown Princess. That's really impressive. I bet you practice a lot at home, right? Her personal maid immediately caught on to what she meant. She brewed a cup of boiling hot tea and handed it to me. She wanted me to serve her tea. I'm the Crown Princess, the future Empress of the nation. She's just a noble consort. By rules, she's the one who should serve me tea. She was deliberately making things difficult for me, just to teach me a lesson and show her authority. Everyone's eyes were fixed on me. All of them were taking pleasure in my misfortune, just waiting to see me make a fool of myself. I swallowed the humiliation. I was just reaching out to take it when I heard Mother Empress. Mother Empress, I'm so hungry. Crown Prince, what are you doing? Licha acted like he didn't see anything. He tugged at my sleeve, looking all wronged and sad. Wifey, I'm hungry. I want to eat food. Did he just call me wifey? I almost choked on my own breath. Furious noble consort Hui slammed the table and stood up yelling, How dare you? How can you call the Crown Princess's name so casually in public? That's so rude and disrespectful. What kind of improper behavior is this? Guards, slap him across the face for me. The Empress frowned slightly. She looked like she wanted to say something, but she glanced at noble consort Hui and closed her mouth again. The atmosphere turned ice cold in a second. I knew I was going to have a hard time getting out of this today. I took a deep breath, getting ready to kneel down and apologize. But Licha suddenly pulled me behind him, standing right in front of me to shield me. The silly grin on his face was gone. His gaze was terrifyingly cold. Don't force me to turn on my voice changer in the palace. The entire cunning palace went dead silent. Everyone was totally shocked by his sudden change, especially noble consort Hui, who froze on the spot. She couldn't even react for a second. Licha let out a cold sneer, then went back to his silly, idiotic look. He pointed at noble consort Hui and yelled loudly, Bad woman! You won't let my wifey cook for me! You're a big meanie. Then he grabbed my hand and ran outside. He yelled as he ran, Wifey! Let's go home. We don't play with meanies. We'll go home and eat the Manchu Han Imperial Feast. Leaving a room full of stunned concubines behind, and noble consort Hui, whose face kept turning green and white. The moment he dragged me out of Cunning Palace, my heart was still beating like crazy. Fellow time traveler, you can't hide it anymore this time. As soon as we got back to the Eastern Palace, Licha immediately let go of my hand. He sent all the servants away and shut the palace door. His previously cold and frosty face immediately softened. He turned around with a look that said, You can't keep pretending anymore, on his face. Fellow time traveler? At this point, keeping pretending would just be insulting both of our intelligences. But I still wanted to make one last attempt to deny it. What if, right? What if he's just a local who likes saying weird stuff? Your Highness, what are you talking about? I kept acting like the gentle and virtuous crown princess. No way, sis. I've already made it this obvious. You're still acting with me right now? I almost believed you for real. You deserve an Oscar for that acting, for real. I thought something was off about you yesterday. What normal ancient noble lady stays that calm when her wedding veil gets lifted off? And today? Noble consort Hui, that old witch was almost bullying you to death. And you still held it in? He fired off questions one after another, every single one hitting right on my pet peeves. I took a deep breath, telling myself to stay calm. I have no clue what your Highness is talking about. Her Majesty the noble consort was just joking with me. Li Cho was completely at his wit's end. He rubbed his forehead and paced back and forth in the hall, muttering to himself the whole time, "Oh no, I'm totally screwed." He was really panicking now. I thought I'd found someone from my world. Turns out he's a max-level NPC. Oh my god, seriously? My Project 985 university degree is just for acting opposite a dummy? Listening to all those familiar slang terms, my tensed nerves finally snapped one by one. I can't keep acting anymore. It's been so exhausting ever since I transmigrated here. I've been treading carefully every single day, like walking on thin ice, scared that one wrong move will get me killed for good. Now there's someone just like me. This feeling is like spotting a rescue ship when you're stranded on a deserted island. Li Cho was still there, wallowing in self-pity. Are my signals not obvious enough? Let me throw out a few more. What's the Wi-Fi password? Did you get emo today? Help me slash the price on Pinduoduo. The stuff he said got more and more absurd. Finally, he even started singing, "You love me, I love you. Mixu ice cream is so sweet. You love me, I love you. Mixu ice cream is so sweet." Dude, ha ha ha! Leech's singing cut off abruptly. He turned around sharply, his eyes wide as saucers. You laughed, I nodded, wiping the tears from the corner of my eyes. He still couldn't believe it, and approached me cautiously. Let me say one more thing. If what I said is real, blink your eyes once. I looked at him, and blinked slowly once. Oh, my fellow transmigrator! It's really you! Looking at him so excited he was about to cry, the heavy stone hanging over my heart finally dropped. I grabbed his hand in return, and said clearly, word by word, I want a serving of braised chicken rice. Extra spicy, add more soup. Licha was stunned. Then he burst out laughing. Laughing so hard he doubled over, tears streaming down his face. Ha ha ha, extra spicy for sure. And I'll get you a bottle of iced Coke too. That afternoon, Licha and I, two souls from the 21st century, in the main hall of the East Palace, had a friendly cross-time meeting. So, you transmigrated here because you died from overworking the 996 schedule at your desk? I nodded furiously. Yep, one second I closed my eyes, the next I opened them. And I was the helpless infant eldest Miss Lin of the Prime Minister's manor. What about you? You look pretty young. How did you end up here too? Don't get me started. I'm a history grad student. I was rushing to finish my thesis. Stayed up 3 whole days and nights without sleep. And then I ended up here. When I first transmigrated, the original owner of this body had just fallen off a horse and was on the verge of death. I had to start pretending to be dumb as soon as I arrived. I totally understood that, after all, a tree that stands taller than the rest will be the first to get blown down by the wind. A crown prince who suddenly goes from dumb to genius would definitely raise suspicions. Tell me about it. I've been playing dumb for all these years? Do you have any idea how hard it's been? Every day I'm surrounded by all those fancy delicacies. But all I crave is junk food. I want to play video games. I want to scroll short videos. I want to watch pretty girls dance. He got more and more excited as he spoke, almost hugging me and bawling his eyes out. I get it. I totally get it. I have to learn needlework and court etiquette every day. I'm going crazy too. 2 people stuck in the same crappy boat. Reached a deep mutual understanding right then. Oh, right. You just picked a fight with Consort Hui in the Palace of Earthly Tranquility like that. Will you get in trouble? Li Che waved his hand, looking totally unbothered. What's there to be scared of? I'm the crown prince. She's just a noble consort. No matter how dumb I act, I'm the future emperor. If she dares to lay a finger on me, that's shaking the foundation of the empire. Even if the emperor doesn't like me at all, he will never let that happen. Besides, Consort Hui is the biological mother of second Prince Li Qian. They've tripped me up so many times over the years. I did this on purpose to warn her this time, to tell her to tone it down a bit. It suddenly clicked for me. So the conflict today was also part of his plan. This man is way smarter than he pretends to be. So what's your next plan? Playing dumb only keeps me safe for now. If I want real safety, and even find a way to get back home, there's only one option. To take that throne. I was shocked immediately. The throne is the center of the brutal power struggle. A seat built on the blood and bones of countless people. That's way too dangerous. If we avoid risks, we'll get eaten alive by others. Lee Cha stood up, walked to the window, staring at the sky beyond the palace walls. Lin Wan, we're two grasshoppers on the same string now. If I go down, you, the crown princess, won't get off easy either. Helping me is helping yourself. His words were harsh, but totally realistic. I fell silent. I just wanted to be a total slacker, laze around and do nothing all day. But right now it seems, inside this massive palace, there's no room for slackers to survive at all. Even if you don't pick fights with others, they will come pick fights with you. Instead of taking hits passively, we'd better take the initiative. Fine, I'll help you. But we need to set 3 ground rules first. Go ahead. First, we are cooperative partners, allies, not a real married couple. You are not allowed to make unwanted moves on me. Deal. Lee Che agreed faster than anyone I've ever seen. I'm not interested in underdeveloped little twigs anyway. I held back the urge to punch him. I continued. Second, for all our actions, we must discuss and decide together. You can't make arbitrary decisions on your own. Sure. Third, I paused for a second and brought up the thing I cared about the most. What if we actually pull this off and you become the emperor? Can you let me leave the palace so I can live my own life? Sure, once I secure my rule on the throne, you can go wherever you want. I'll give you enough seed money to make you the richest person in the whole country, so you can live it up however you like. It's a deal then. A gentleman's word is as good as gold. Happy to work with you. Same here. From that day on, the least favored crown prince and princess of the Dalian dynasty officially formed their own Avengers alliance. The ultimate game dungeon called Fight for the Throne officially started. Our first goal is to make money. As the saying goes, the economic base determines the superstructure. If we want to build our own power inside and outside the palace, money is absolutely essential. Even though Lee Che is the crown prince, because he has been pretending to be dumb, the emperor doesn't care about him at all. The salary for the Eastern Palace has been cut again and again. We are both dead broke. I did the math. Lee Che held a small notebook, with a worried look on his face. After covering all expenses of the Eastern Palace, the disposable silver we have each month isn't even enough to buy a cup of milk tea in Sanliton. I looked at the tally marks drawn in his notebook and was completely speechless. Your accounting skills are worse than if I just make a simple spreadsheet in Excel. Don't nitpick these little details. The point is, we need to find ways to generate more income. How do we do that? Open a fried chicken shop outside the palace? You're thinking too small. I'm gonna do something huge. 3 days later, I finally found out what that huge plan was. In the busiest area of the capital, he wanted to open an entertainment club. I looked at the rough sketch he drew. Crookedly written on it were 4 big characters, paradise on earth. Are you crazy? You're the crown prince. You want to open a brothel? What brothel? That sounds so bad. We call it a high-end business club. We offer all-around entertainment and leisure services. He pointed at the sketch, rambling excitedly. Look. The first floor is the lobby. We'll hold talent shows regularly. Singing, dancing, crosstalk performances. Our main selling point is being relatable to ordinary people. The second floor is private rooms, where you can drink, play cards, and play murder mystery games. The third floor is the VIP area, which offers high-end customized services, like psychological counseling, business planning, and so on. I was stunned listening to him. Murder mystery games? Psychological counseling? He is going to copy 21st century business models and bring them here completely unchanged. Will this work? Will people here accept this? Of course it will work. People in ancient times have such boring entertainment options. This is total dimensionality reduction strike. I guarantee it'll blow up the whole city the day we open. Let's get right to it. Lee Che used his very limited personal connections to find an agent outside the imperial palace, a down-on-his-luck imperial merchant, while I was responsible for providing business plans. I pulled out all the PPT skills I had from my past life, from market analysis to user personas, to marketing strategies and profit models. I wrote dozens of pages nonstop. Lee Che's eyes lit up when he read them. He kept praising me as a business genius. Half a month later, the much-anticipated Paradise on Earth opened with zero fanfare. Yep, totally low-key. 'Cause literally no one showed up. Local people in the capital walked past, saw its fancy gilded decoration, and the weird shop name they'd never heard of. They all thought it was some shady shop, and took a detour to avoid it. For 3 straight days, we barely had any customers. Licha was as anxious as a cat on a hot tin roof. What's going on? Is my business empire gonna crash? Before it even takes off? I stared at the glaring red deficits in the account book, and felt pretty worried too. Where did we go wrong? Just when we were at our wits' end, an unexpected guest showed up. The second Prince Li Tian. He brought several of his advisors, fanning himself slowly, and walked in with a fake smile on his face. I've long heard there's a novel new shop in the capital. Seeing it today, it really is extraordinary. It just seems like your business is a little slow. Ha 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 ha. Licha immediately switched to his fool act. He drooled and clapped his hands. So fun, big brother come play too. A flash of disgust crossed Li Chen's eyes. But he quickly hid it. He walked up to the front desk, looked at the show list posted on it. Talk show? What is that? Heh, it's when someone stands on stage telling jokes. Oh, telling jokes? That sounds kind of interesting. Could you let this prince have a look? He was obviously here to mess with us. I knew if I couldn't impress him today, our paradise on Earth would become the biggest joke in the entire capital. Everyone's eyes turned to Licha. Licha was still there playing dumb. I made a firm decision and stepped forward. Since your highness is in the mood for it, let this common girl put on a little show for you. I walked up to the stage, picked up that shoddy makeshift microphone, and took a deep breath. In that moment, it felt like I was back, on my old company's annual party stage. I used a super down-to-earth opening line. To start my first talk show in the Liang dynasty, I talked about the miserable life of corporate slaves. Do you know what drawing a pie means? It's when your boss tells you, work hard, I'll promote you and give you a raise next year. I'll even help you find a pretty wife. Then next year comes, you find the pie is still there, but the wife ran off with your boss. Li Chen and his advisors below the stage looked at each other confusedly. They clearly didn't get the joke. But I didn't care. I kept talking. Do you know what involution means? It's when you can get off work on time, but your coworker next to you insists on working overtime till midnight, just to look like he's super hardworking. The boss sees this and goes, "Oh, this kid is great." Then he tells everyone, all of you should learn from him. In the end, everyone has to work overtime till midnight. This time, some people in the crowd looked thoughtful. Your Highness, isn't this just like those censors in the imperial court? To show off their performance? They impeach everyone every single day? Li Chen's face changed slightly. I saw a glimmer of hope. So I talked even more energetically. I talked about slacking off at work, about KPIs, about PUA. I turned all the pain and tears of modern workplaces into language that ancient people could understand, and turned them into jokes one by one. At first, there were only sparse laughs. Later, the entire hall erupted into thunderous applause and laughter. Even Li Qian, who came to make trouble at first, couldn't help smiling. The people who were just passing by to watch the fun were all drawn inside. They packed the hall so full there was no room to move. That one talk show I did actually saved the entire paradise on Earth. When the show ended, I took a bow and walked off stage. The applause lasted for a really long time. Li Cha was the first to rush over and gave me a big bear hug. You're freaking amazing, honey. You're literally my goddess. Don't let people get the wrong idea. We're just business partners. Li Chen also walked over. This young lady is quite eloquent. I wonder which noble family you're from. He clearly didn't recognize me, the so-called fool. Crown princess. He's mine, all mine. Li Ken's face instantly soured. He probably never expected that he'd get lectured by a fool's woman. A good lesson at that. He snorted coldly and stormed off. Watching his frustrated retreating back, Li Cha and I exchanged a smile. Round 1. We won. Tianshang Renjian became an instant hit. My talk shows became the hottest trend in the capital. Tons of nobles, officials, and scholars came to check it out, just to hear my totally original jokes. How good was our business? Private room bookings were backed up for a whole month. Scalped tickets were sold for sky-high prices. Li Chia and I finally climbed out of poverty and became the new hidden rich folks in the capital. But we both knew this was just the beginning. Li Qian's revenge would come real soon. Sure enough, not long after, trouble showed up. A censor surnamed Zhang from the censorate suddenly submitted a memorial to the emperor, impeaching Crown Prince Li Chia. The memorial said, as the Crown Prince of the Empire, he had no ambition to improve. Instead, he was addicted to vulgar pleasures, running an entertainment venue, luring officials and common people to neglect their duties for fun. As soon as the memorial was submitted, the entire court was in an uproar. The emperor was furious and immediately ordered a full investigation. For a while, dark clouds hung over the Eastern Palace. Li Chia was summoned to the imperial study by the emperor and was reprimanded for a full 2 hours. When he came back, his face was pale, and he didn't say a word. I knew this crisis was worse than any we'd faced before. Li Qian's move was a total knockout blow. He wanted to completely destroy Li Chia's reputation from the root. What are we going to do? Li Chia stayed silent for ages. Before he spoke slowly, Censor Shang works for Yubian. He definitely has more tricks up his sleeve. We're on the back foot right now. I looked at his furrowed brows, and my heart sank. Is the business empire we worked so hard to build gonna be destroyed just like that? I won't accept this. We can't just sit around and wait for death. He can impeach us. Why can't we fight back? How do we fight back? My brain was racing. The censor's impeachment. Oh, I got it. I leaned in close to his ear and whispered my plan to him. Li Chia's eyes gradually lit up. Are you sure we should do this? It's a double-edged sword. If we make one tiny mistake, we'll be doomed forever. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. How else are we going to turn this around? Fine. Let's do as you say. This time we're going to go even bigger. Our plan was pretty simple. And pretty crazy, too. Since you attacked us with public opinion, I'll drown you with it right back. I want everyone in the capital to know this censor Zhang who impeached the crown prince is actually a total piece of garbage. I took the first pot of gold we earned from Tianshang Renjian and spent all of it. Part of it was used to pay off storytellers in all the tea houses and pubs in the capital. The other part was used to hire the most gossipy loiterers in the capital and hooligans. They only had one task: spread gossip about Censor Zhang. Hey, have you guys heard that Censor Zhang has 18 concubines at home? That's nothing. I heard he also takes bribes and breaks the law. The dirty money he took is enough to fill the entire moat. No way, is that true? Isn't he supposed to be super honest? That honest act, all fake? My great-uncle's second cousin works for his family. He saw with his own eyes Zhang hiding gold bars under his bed. All of a sudden, all kinds of dirt on Censor Zhang spread like a virus, all over the streets and alleys of the capital. Some were true, some were fake. Mixed together, hard to tell apart. But the common people didn't care. They just loved juicy gossip. In just 3 days, Censor Zhang went from being an honest, upright, loyal official to a money-hungry, lecherous hypocrite who pretends to be moral. Censor Zhang was so angry he almost coughed up blood and submitted a memorial to the emperor, saying someone is spreading malicious slander. The emperor also found it fishy and sent people to investigate. But these rumors spreading all over the streets are literally impossible to track down. Li Qian also realized something was wrong. He wanted to suppress these rumors, only to find he couldn't hold them down at all. Once the flood of public opinion breaks the dam, no one can block it just as they wish. That's not all. I told Li Chia to send people secretly to visit those officials once impeached by Censor Zhang. Some of these people were wronged. Some were blackmailed by him. All of them hated him to the core. They didn't dare to speak up before. Now that Censor Zhang is a public enemy, they finally got the guts to speak their minds. So impeachment memorials against Censor Zhang, one after another, flew into the imperial study like snowflakes. Corruption, bribery, manslaughter, forming cliques for personal gain. Every charge has corresponding witnesses and evidence. The emperor completely lost his cool this time. He ordered Censor Zhang to be dismissed and investigated, and all his property confiscated. You never know what you'll find till you check. And the result was totally jaw-dropping. The gold, silver, and treasures seized from the Zhang mansion were piled up like a small hill. We caught him red-handed. The evidence is absolutely irrefutable. The emperor was so furious he smashed his cup on the spot and ordered the entire Zhang family to be executed. The crisis targeted at us was resolved skillfully by us with minimal effort. What's more, we also got rid of one of Li Qian's key pawns. Li Qian and I toasted to our victory in the Eastern Palace. Great job. Is this trick of yours called public opinion backlash? It's literally a textbook-level PR case. Although we won this time, we have also completely become Li Qian's sworn enemies. He will definitely use even more ruthless tricks next. If soldiers come, we have generals to stop them. If floods come, we have earth to block them. He has his Zhangliang's clever strategies. I have my own tricks to outsmart him. He looked at me, with a fervor in his eyes I had never seen before. Lin Wan, with you by my side. I'm not afraid of anything. My heart skipped a beat for no reason. I quickly turned my face away and took a sip of wine to hide my awkwardness. Don't flatter yourself. We're just partners? Haha, yeah. Revolutionary friendship. I get it. The moonlight outside the window was like flowing water. I knew the road ahead was still long and dangerous, but somehow looking at this grinning man beside me, who always hid his true strength well, I felt an unexplainable sense of peace for the first time. After Censor Zhang fell from power, the imperial court stayed quiet for a while. Li Qian suffered a heavy setback and temporarily laid low. Li Qian and I took advantage of this opportunity to vigorously develop our power. The business of Tianshang Renjian was booming. It became our most important intelligence source and funding pool. We also used the money we earned to secretly win over some frustrated officials and military generals, and slowly built up our own influence. Everything was going in a positive direction until that winter. An urgent report came from the border. The northern barbarian tribes suddenly tore up the peace agreement and invaded south on a large scale. They captured 3 cities in a row and headed straight for the capital. The entire imperial court was shocked. The emperor immediately held a court meeting to discuss countermeasures. The Warhawks and peace faction argued fiercely. The Warhawks believed they should send troops immediately to drive the barbarians out. The peace faction argued the national treasury was empty, and it was unwise to start a war rashly. It's better to send envoys to negotiate peace and exchange money for peace. The emperor was hesitant. Then the second prince Li Qian stepped forward. Father, all respected ministers, when the country is facing a crisis, opinions are divided among us. We need someone to turn the tide right now. I, your son, am willing to lead the troops south to suppress the chaos and keep the people safe. I beg Father to approve my request. His words were very inspiring and won praise from all court officials. The emperor was greatly pleased and immediately appointed him as Grand General of Pacification, in charge of 200,000 troops, to set off on the expedition the same day. When the news reached the Eastern Palace, Li Qian's face was extremely grim. What is he trying to do? He wants to seize military power. On this expedition, if he wins, he will become the hero of the Liang dynasty. He holds massive military power. His prestige will reach its peak. By then, my position as crown prince will really be on the line. What if he loses? He won't lose. I've looked into it. The barbarian tribes invading south this time are just an alliance of a few small tribes. Their strength is not strong at all. With our dynasty's 200,000 troops, as long as the command is proper, victory is absolutely guaranteed. Li Qian is using a sure-win war to lay the most important stepping stone for his fight for the throne. I gasped in shock. What a brilliant indirect move. Li Qian is way too scheming. We can't let him get his way. Of course not. We have to find a way to stop him. Li Qian stood up, pacing back and forth in the hall. But how can we stop him? The imperial edict has already been issued. The emperor's words are final. The only way is to get ahead of him. What do you mean? I'm going to the war too. Are you crazy? You're a crown prince pretending to be foolish. How can you go to war? Will the emperor agree? He will, as long as I give him a reason he can't refuse. 3 days later, at the imperial court, Li Che did something that shocked everyone. He asked the emperor in front of all civil and military officials to go to the northern border to fight with Second Prince Li Qian. Everyone thought he was crazy. A fool. Going to the battlefield is just asking for death, right? Sure, don't talk nonsense. The battlefield is dangerous. It's no place for you to mess around. Father, your son isn't going there to play. I know how to make a super powerful weapon. It can chase away all the bad guys. I brought the D drawings. This is called Scorching Sky M Mine. It explodes. Boom! It'll blow all the bad guys away. I stayed up 2 straight nights to draw that blueprint. From what I remembered, it's the simplest black powder formula and mine structure diagram. I know this is a gamble. If we win, we can turn the tide. If we lose, we'll be charged with deceiving the emperor and doomed forever. Half in doubt, the emperor ordered the blueprint to be presented. He couldn't understand it. Neither could the Ministry of Works officials in the court. Everyone thought the crown prince's fool illness was acting up again and talking nonsense. Li Qian even snickered out loud. Brother, stop messing around. How dare you call this scribble a weapon? This is just a total laughingstock. Just as everyone was ready to laugh at Li Che, the Duke of Zhen, who had been silent all this time, the Grand Marshal of the dynasty's armed forces, my grandfather, whom I'd never met, suddenly stood up. He took the blueprint from the emperor's hand and only glanced at it. His cloudy old eyes immediately lit up with excitement. He walked up to Li Che. His voice was even trembling a little. Your Highness, can this thing really explode? Yes, it can explode. It can even blow people up. The Duke of Zhen took a deep breath, turned to the emperor, and suddenly knelt down. Your Majesty, I am willing to bet my head on it that if His Highness the Crown Prince's blueprint is real, it will be an unparalleled weapon for our Daliang to defeat the enemy. I beg your Majesty to allow the Crown Prince to go with the army. The Duke of Zhen has extremely high prestige in the army. Once he spoke, his words carried more weight than anyone else's. The emperor hesitated. On one side was Li Qian, his most favored son. On the other was Li Che, the foolish son he had always disliked, and a weapon blueprint of uncertain authenticity. In the end, the desire for victory won out over everything else. Approved. The emperor's words were final. He agreed to let Li Che go with the army, and assigned him a 500-man personal guard. To let him trial produce the so-called Sky Thunder. Li Qian's face turned green with anger. He never expected such an unexpected obstacle to pop up halfway. What's more, he didn't expect that the Duke of Zhen, who had always obeyed his every word, would suddenly side with Li Che. He had no idea. The reason the Duke of Zhen helped us was that I sent him a letter in advance. I didn't mention my identity in the letter. I only wrote one line. Your grandson is in mortal danger. I hope grandfather can help me and my wife. I was betting that for his late daughter, who is the mother of the body I occupy, grandfather still holds a trace of guilt and affection. I won the bet. The night before the expedition, Li Che came to see me. He had put on a set of silver armor, which made him look tall and upright, and full of valor, with no trace of his usual, that silly grinning look of his. I have to go now. I nodded, and adjusted his clothes a little. Slightly crooked? Collar, take care of everything, okay? Don't worry. He held my hand. His palm was warm and dry. I won't be in the capital. You have to take good care of yourself. Even though Li Qian is gone, Consort Hoi is still here. She will definitely make trouble for you. I know he rambled on a lot, like a nagging old nanny. I listened quietly, without feeling impatient at all. Finally, he seemed to have nothing left to say. The atmosphere fell a little silent. Hey, don't you have anything to say to me? Have a safe trip. That's it? All right, wish you victory in your first battle. Lin Wan, can't you say something nicer? I looked at his flustered, annoyed face, and couldn't help laughing. I took a step forward, stood on my tiptoes, and pressed a soft kiss on his cheek. It was very light and soft, like a feather brushing against the skin. Li Che froze immediately. His eyes went wide, staring at me in disbelief. His cheeks turned red at a visible speed, all the way to the tips of his ears. This is a down payment. I took a step back, looking at his bright red face, and felt in a great mood. When you come back in triumph, I'll pay the rest. Li Che's breathing became completely ragged. He looked at me. with swirling emotions in his eyes I couldn't read. There was surprise, excitement, and a hint of aggression as well. He suddenly took a step forward and pulled me tightly into his arms. He hugged me so hard, like he wanted to rub me into his bones and blood. Linwan, wait for me to come back. I will definitely come back in glory to marry you. This time it's not a joke between allies, but a serious promise from a man to a woman. My heart was completely flustered. After Licha left, my life didn't get any easier at all. Consort Hai really didn't let me off the hook. One day she said my palace expenses exceeded the rules. The next she said I was rude when greeting her. I handled all of them smoothly. When it comes to verbal fights, I've never been scared of anyone. She couldn't beat me openly, so she started playing dirty tricks. She bribed a young eunuch from the Eastern Palace to poison the bird's nest soup I drank. Luckily, I had prepared for this long ago. I told Xiaoqui to take all food and drinks and test them with silver needles first. After we caught that little eunuch, I didn't make it public. Instead, I turned her trick against her. I pretended to be poisoned and bedridden. I invited the imperial physician over and deliberately spread the news that I was dying. Consort He thought her plan had worked. She got so arrogant that she slipped up and exposed herself. I got hold of the evidence and took it straight to the Empress. The Empress had long been dissatisfied with Consort Hui's arrogant and bossy behavior. Now that she had dirt on Consort Hui, she immediately ordered a full investigation. Consort Hui couldn't argue her way out of it. The Empress ordered her to be confined to her own palace and forbidden to leave without permission. Even though I didn't take her down completely, this was more than enough to make her suffer badly. After solving the trouble in the palace, I focused all my energy on heaven and earth. I used modern management knowledge to make detailed rules and regulations. We launched membership cards, point redemption, and a series of other marketing activities. I also found a few promising new talents and held crosstalk specials and ancient-style music concerts. We turned heaven and earth into the one and only cultural and entertainment center in the capital. We made more and more money. Our intelligence network also expanded larger and larger. I even got in touch with several powerful capital officials. Through the guests of heaven and earth, everything was being prepared for Li Che's return. And Li Che, far away at the northern border, didn't let me down either. He used the blueprints I gave him and worked with craftsmen to successfully make the Sky Thunder. It is a simple landmine made of black gunpowder and iron pieces. Though its power can't compare to modern landmines, it is more than enough to deal with barbarian cavalry that only have cold weapons. In a small-scale skirmish, Li Che used 100 Sky Thunders to completely wipe out their 500-strong vanguard cavalry unit. When the news got back to the capital, the whole imperial court was shocked. No one had expected this. That silly crown prince actually made the legendary divine artifact. The emperor was overjoyed, ordered to reward Li Che, and told him to fully produce Sky Thunder for the front line. Li Qian was so mad he almost spat blood. He originally wanted to earn merits on the battlefield, but Li Che stole all the limelight. He was unwilling and rushed for quick success. Without finding out the exact position of the enemy's main force, he rashly launched a full-scale attack and ended up falling into the barbarians' ambush. 200,000 troops were trapped in the valley, suffering heavy casualties. Li Qian himself was also seriously injured and looked completely disgraced. Just when the Daliang army was about to be completely wiped out, Li Che led his 500 personal guards and his grandfather's Duke of Zhenguo army to arrive in time. They used mine arrays to blow open the barbarians' encirclement. Li Che charged ahead at the front, holding a long spear, and rushed into the enemy formation first. That battle was extremely fierce. In the end, the Daliang army won the victory at a devastating cost. The barbarian chief was beheaded off his horse by Li Che himself. The northern border siege was lifted. When the victory news spread back to the capital, the whole city burst into excitement. Li Che became a hero admired by all people. No one called him a fool anymore. People only knew that the crown prince took charge at the critical moment and saved Daliang like a god descending from the sky. I knew we had won this battle for the throne. The day Li Che returned to the capital with his troops, all citizens came out to the streets to welcome him. I stood at the entrance of the Eastern Palace, watching him from far away. He was riding on a horse, wearing blood-stained armor. All his past innocence and pretense were gone, leaving only the calm and edge of a winner. His gaze passed through the bustling crowd and landed accurately on me. Our eyes met. Thousands of words were left unsaid between us. That night, the emperor held a grand victory banquet in the palace. Li Che became the focus of the whole audience. The emperor looked at him with full relief and pride, while Li Chan was like a defeated rooster, cowering in the corner, with no one paying attention to him. Halfway through the banquet, Li Che suddenly stood up, walked to the center of the main hall, knelt before the emperor. "Father, your subject has a request to make." "Ha ha ha, Chair, what do you want?" "Just say it, as long as I can give it to you." "I will." Li Che raised his head and looked at me with burning eyes. "I want to ask you, Father, to hold a new wedding for me and the crown princess." The whole hall burst into an uproar. I was stunned. What is he doing? When I married the crown princess, I was not in my right mind and treated her very poorly. Now that I have fully recovered, I feel deeply sorry for the crown princess. I want to use a real wedding to make up for the debt I owe her. I want everyone in the world to know Lin Wan is the only wife I love for my whole life. His voice echoed through the whole hall. Every word hit my heart clearly. I looked at him, staring at the deep love and firmness in his eyes. My eyes got hot, and tears blurred my vision instantly. Full. Ha 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 ha. Good, good, good. I approve. I will hold for my Daliang hero the grandest wedding ever. At that moment, I became the most envied woman in the whole world. After the banquet ended, Li Xia walked me back to the Eastern Palace. Walking on the palace path covered with moonlight, neither of us said a word. When we almost reached the door, he suddenly pulled me over. "Lin Wan, You haven't paid me the remaining payment yet." I looked at his handsome face so close to me, and the mischievous smile in his eyes. My heart was beating wildly. I stood on tiptoe and kissed his lips. This time it wasn't just a quick peck. He took the lead instead, and deepened this kiss with the dominance of a winner and the ecstasy of regaining what was lost. Besides, loving you is not part of the cooperation. We are not just allies. It's a man's love for a woman. I smiled and wrapped my arms around his waist. "Li Che, I love you too. It's not an act. It's not settling for less. It's a woman's love for a man." We hugged each other tightly, as if we wanted to merge each other into our own lives. A year later, the emperor abdicated. Li Che ascended the throne as the new emperor. The reign title was changed to Yong'an. I became his empress. He kept his promise. He gave me an unprecedented grand wedding and showered me with a lifetime of love and affection. On the day of the coronation ceremony, he held my hand and stood at the highest point of the Hall of Supreme Harmony, looking down at his vast territory. He leaned in close to my ear and whispered in a voice only the two of us could hear, "Honey, this whole country will be ours from now on. How about I give you free nationwide shipping, huh?" Ha 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 ha. Got you in your dreams.